greetings. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday night, Monday morning, whatever it might be. So Atlantis, we would go into Atlantis. And interesting though, so I fell at the Bermuda Triangle, which I never connect to, and they found part of the Challenger shuttle there, and the Bermuda Triangle. So that was interesting. It's like, I'm not sure if any of that matters, but either way, that's the latest. If anybody cares. So it connects to the energies of portal energies, and of course the Bermuda Triangle is like a doorway to another planet or other worlds or wherever it might be. And also Sedona has the same energies. Pacific Ocean. There's plenty of other places. They like the dragons. I forget what they call it. The Pacific Ocean has their own Bermuda Triangle, basically. Dragons Circle or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. Also, Futurama, the TV show. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of manipulations around that, around the show itself. Well, of course, it comes from the creator of The Simpsons and all that, so it's like, take whatever you want on that. But it's still an alien race for sure. You can say a lot's been kept back, meaning, well, that's normal, but there's other. I guess the messages in the show weren't always, some of the times, a little bit manipulative. I never got much into it, but either way, we can tap into Futurama and the energies there, and Bigfoot. I realized that Bigfoot, of course, I heard about the giants in Florida. I'm not going to go into that one. I still haven't found Bigfoot. You want us to find giants now? Which could easily be giants here. I mean, why not? Well, they're in another dimension. I haven't seen a giant walk around. I've been here for a while. But then again, when I was in Sarasota, I did feel a giant in this, but I felt it. I kind of saw it, but not see it, not in the physical. So, yeah, if you remote view a giant energy, I can see that definitely. Yeah, that was, more further south, the energies get a little bit less controlled. Where I am, it's kind of dense because it's more of a city area. Especially when you go where the hurricane hit, Fort Myers, the energies are a lot lighter there. Maybe not perfect, but it's more intense where I am. It's so intense here, not even a hurricane wants to come over here. Can't blame them. We're going to Bigfoot. That is a controversial. Bigfoot's or the Sasquatch is pretty controversial. Some get very sensitive about it. It's almost like tapping into politics. You say one thing about the Sasquatch, it's like, oh, that's not this, or this is that, or some kind of. I know I dealt with it. It's like you go to the Sasquatch complaint department. So that's why I just don't tap into them because of that. It's almost like connected to God and all that other stuff, trying career. It's like I don't feel like listening to it. The Yeshua energy. That's why I don't do it publicly, because I don't feel like listening to it. It's all right to have those opinions. That's great, but there's only so much we want to put ourselves into. So I do want to. But either way, it feels like the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, which is also connected to the canine energies, which is also connected to Sirius. Basically, there's different ways of looking at the Sasquatch. Like I said, some are take it very personally. If you're taking it personally, obviously have a connection with them. But some can get kind of closed-minded with it all. Whatever, just can't win. This spirituality is sometimes worse than religion. I hate to say it. Yep, it's getting more confusing. It's more convoluted than religion will ever be. Of course, religion came out of spirituality, but they have no idea how dense spirituality can become. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, especially with astral, I mean, as energy, you can create anything. Any universe, galaxies, whatever it is. So, yeah, it gets kind of confusing here in the physical, trying to tap into everything. So, obviously, the government's doing. First off, the government manipulation of Bermuda Triangles. They're doing some kind of test there or something like that. I wasn't planning on picking up on that, but they're doing some kind of seismic earthquake test there for some reason underwater. At least that's the vibe I got from that. Who knows if they ever did that at all. Oh yeah, this week. Usually I don't do a reading for the week. I forget about it. Of course, things have gotten really slow recently. Not just the economy, just the vibration. Like many people will probably turn themselves off, deactivate, take a rest, go and put yourself in cruise control. The crypto market is not doing great, but it'll shine back. It's not completely crash. It just hit a snag. So I guess Trump's going to have his announcement Tuesday, but that's probably about it. I don't see. It just feels like this week not a lot is going to happen news wise. I mean, there's going to be something that happens, but it's really taking a break. And I guess you can see people need that, especially after the election, all that nonsense last week. I'm not going to go into details of that one. Walk into that. So get another YouTube strike. Not into that one. Okay, so we have inventory economy, we have private sessions. We have a scheduler, we have a shop here. I'm at the end of October. We have the webinar, we have a social network and behind the scenes, and we have the upcoming event here. I'll do another video on Wednesday. I don't know if anybody wants to hear about it, but hasn't been completely updated of what's going on. But either way, we have an upcoming event. So, all right. Of course, there's Lemurian energies, but I'm going to more of the Atlantean energies because, Atlantis has mostly the chaos frequency. They're one of the reasons why the world is the way it is. So obviously connect to your own version of reality. If you need to connect to the Atlanteans, you don't have to, but if you want to, because you'd be surprised how much is there that's been blocked from. It's trauma. Well, not everybody here was there. Of course, you can say anybody can time travel there, so technically you were there in some form if you're a time traveler. Technically, you can remote view it now if you were involved with it too to some level. So who knows? There's different ways of looking at it. But yeah, Atlantis has a lot of trickster energies. Like I said, it's not all bad. It's just it's got some stuff going on with it. It has obviously wizardry. The cult energies came from it, and creating civilizations, and just there's a lot of stuff there. So go to Atlantis, Bermuda frequencies, Futurama and Bigfoot. The thing about the Bermuda Triangle is the weapons of Atlantis. I believe some of them were definitely there, especially around where I live in Florida. It's almost like some of us come here to guard it. So you get tired of guarding it, though. But you're here as a guardian or here to open up a door for more that's to come. Yeah. Once Atlantean knowledge starts to become more mainstream, it kind of is mainstream, but not as mainstream as it could be. A lot of wounds will start to heal, but it's going to be, I feel, intense. How's it going to hit mainstream? I'm not going to go into that, but It can. It just like a book or some kind of but really hits the mainstream and just starts to really break through belief systems here. It gets people to question the past and question history, because some people are doing, there is a lot of it out there, which is good. That's Tartarians, but there's still a lot more you can go into. Obviously, it's not easy. It's just a lot of wounds there. So you wonder why you're having difficulties here. Is a lot of it's just you're uncovering a reality that might not want to be known, or trying not to be known, or whatever it might be. This is how you heal the earth. You go back to your origins. Well, to heal the origins, let's put it that way. We have to know everything. So it's one way to do your shadow work, your own shadow work, but you're also doing the shadow work of the planet itself, which many are doing right now. And yeah, so all right, what's happened to Atlantis frequencies? And there you go, blessings. Greetings to you. We are Atlantean consciousness. There were a lot of Atlantean gods. You can say our Atlas is one of them. There are others, but they don't wish to be known at this time. At least what the Atlanteans would go by for knowledge, especially as they become less connected to their higher selves and became more physical themselves and became more vicious to each other. They became more human, but that was inevitable. Well, they became becoming more physical because in their early stages of Atlantis, humans here in the third dimension did not know Atlanteans were even there. So as the Atlanteans, basically, just like your aliens that are here now, they started, they created civilizations that you would never know about. So there's other places in your world where there are alien civilizations. Not to go into detail of where they are, but there are certain land masses where there are other civilizations currently. It's just Atlantis lost its frequency and became more known in the physical, and then became attacked and attacking others. It went vice versa. Well, a lot of Atlanteans didn't always know what a human was. Some of them, they knew what each other were, but a lot of them ignored humans for the most part. They knew that they were there, but kind of kept their distance from them. And you say it was kind of a racial energy. They just didn't want to connect. They didn't want anything to do with them. There's different parts of them. Some Atlanteans, but nothing to do with humans. Obviously, they were human to a certain level, but they feel like they were, inferior. Some did, not all. And others were always they're obsessed with humans. Just obsessed with the DNA, to understand it, to complete it, to copy it. Just like people that are obsessed with cars. Think about somebody obsessed with humans. Of course, once again, Atlanteans were human also, but they're a different type of human, more of an alien human, just like you hear about aliens abducting people. Atlanteans did similarities themselves. They have, yes, the shadow of the Nazi party is definitely, as Atlantis became darker, it's obviously not exactly similar as the Nazi frequency, but there is a lot of similarities. Well, yes, mutations. Of course, during that time, they didn't think anything of it. Basically, mutating humans with animal DNA and things of that kind. Of course, it was very normal. That's hybridization. So, and some of you can probably start remembering. Think about being born into a half human, half animal being, and your soul is trapped there, and like your soul did not realize what it was getting itself into, and now you're trapped as like a monster, basically. There had been half man, half bull beings in your past. It obviously go on and on with that, but the bull was a very strong frequency in your past. So just to give you a little bit window into your Earth's history. The Earth's history is rough to take in. Obviously, you know about the wars, but the Atlantean history is darker. As some of you probably have some idea. It's like it's so dark. It's some of you can connect to it without a problem, but many are having difficulties because maybe you don't want to know yet. Obviously, there's a lot of positivity during that time, of course. But realize humans are at their highest level too. Of course, you're not going to see that in history. And then humans were, say, attacked by Atlantean beings to be studied because humans here are very unusual than most humans on other planets. It has to do with your DNA. It has to do with just basically your DNA was able to handle the DNA of other beings quite well. And so it was unique. So it's like a custom car. At least that's a custom human. It was just not normal. I mean, they've seen it in other worlds, but this world had everything. So obviously the beings here are not going to make it easy for you to remember yourself. So you wonder why the suppression of your planet is, I mean, you already know this, but it's suppression of your knowledge. Not just your current knowledge, but your ancient knowledge, obviously, right? Many of you already know this, but your ancient knowledge isn't really mentioned all that often. I mean, it's to some level, but obviously not in your mainstream, not at all. It's like, forget about this place. Let's go by the story we tell you. So, obviously, notice how like current events, they're always pushing current events, the future. Well, there's nothing wrong with the current life, your current timeline. That's okay. But the current events is always putting chaos energies, just chaos agendas. So you put all those chaos agendas to the side, which many of you have. You don't have to necessarily focus on the future so much. It's just healing the past. It's like, what are they trying to hide? Some of you have some idea. And that's good. It's good to have many ideas. It's good to at least look. You might not know everything. You're not intending to know everything, but healing your connection to the past will help you see the future in your modern day life. So the agents of chaos are obviously here to keep you from remembering yourselves. But obviously many of you can outsmart that. It's not easy, but you can. That's what you wonder why you can't leave this incarnation. Is that you're here to unlock a world that does not want to be unlocked, but you're here to do it anyway. So what's this? Brings you the Futurama reality. Just to make it clear, our reality is not about gender. Yes, about having different genders. It's about experimenting and being yourself, whatever that might be. So there are worlds where you're just allowed to experiment as you do here, but it's not an easy experimentation here. Well, some change their genders and it doesn't go so well. There are worlds that make it easier, of course, where some here. Remember that. There are places where it is simpler. But it's not just the gender. It's everything. It's, yes, connecting to the animals, nature. It's just basically a soul search. Now, some of you are doing that now, but there are planets that allow it to come in more easier. Yes, where you can have a robot being that looks like a tin can, and you have a regular human. You have insectoid beings that live with each other. It's just a world of complete and utter diversity. And that's probably what some of you feel like this world's lacking. A little bit more than what you're experiencing now. And not just about technologies, it's really about the individual able to express itself and doesn't have to rely on a human incarnation. You can be whatever you want to be. This world is kind of, you can say, forcing a human experience on you, technically. You wonder if this is a prison reality. Well, that there's some, I mean, why does it have to all be just humans? Why can't it be other humans, canine people, and so on. Why can't it have different types of humans instead of just yes, different color humans, which is good. But I believe some of you want more than that. A blue human every once in a while, a yellow human, maybe a human, yes, a giant human, maybe. At least you go. But and some of you are so used to insectoid beings being part of your society. That's what this sometimes this world's lacking. It's like, why does this world feel like it's incomplete? Because it is forcing agendas on you. And if you just remember yourself, we're just bringing the insectoids up because they're everywhere. But they're not hidden like they are on this planet. Of course, you have reptilian beings, but you think insectoid beings are always a more prominent species because they can just reproduce easily. They're just everywhere. It doesn't mean they're part of all planets and all societies, not at all. Of course, they are. I mean, this is kind of funny, but so like reptilian worlds, the insectoid is like their version of a turkey, where they eat insectoid beings. Well, the animal, not just the humanoid ones, but an actual, insect being. Yes, they are usually large, but that's their version of a turkey. You are coming to Thanksgiving. I know this may not be an image you want for your Thanksgiving, but some reptilians just love themselves some into insectoid dinners and things like that. And especially when you have difficulties with insectoid beings, it's like, yeah, maybe that's not such a bad idea. Yeah, them being cooked up isn't so bad for some beings. It's not for everybody. Yes, once they incarnate on a planet, it's hard to get rid of that frequency. At least to understand it, to make themselves hidden, and so on. But Futurama reality is basically some of you are just used to being more of yourself. Once again, it's not always a human incarnation. I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but human is such a small piece of your universe. It's just so small, but yet here it's so prominent. It's like wearing clothes. Being a human body is like wearing clothes you don't want to wear. It's like you're wearing a uniform you're kind of tired of wearing. But that's you wonder what the test is. As some of you know, being human is the test. Just living in a body like this, at this level, yes. Where yes, you can't just get rid of it and find another. Which other worlds make it very easy. Yeah, some worlds make it too easy, actually. Some are too used to that. But when the idea to come into a world that has all these rules, all to take the fun out of everything, and you come here to turn that around the best of your ability. It takes time, but you're here to, yes, unlock the planet, as you know. Blessings. Greetings to you. We are a Sasquatch. Yes, we can say we are very connected to the canine beings, only because the canine beings have a kind soul, kind energy. That's to say the feline zones. But the canine frequency is basically Sasquatch. You can say it's half human, half canine. There's other connections there, but it is basically a canine being overall. Just for our protection, our multidimensional levels, basically, we're not a werewolf species at all, but we are like another version of your reality, of your human. Those that, yes, need, you said obviously we have a lot of hair normally. You don't see a hairless Bigfoot very often. They do exist. They might as well call those human or an ape. But basically, our fur is a protection. But we do bring, many of you are part, basically, a Sasquatch and human was the idea was for us to live among each other in the past. And then we were separated. Even Neanderthal was here to be part of human society too, because it's just another version of human. Also, the long-gated head beings also. So all these different diverse beings of human that was supposed to um, live among each other. Of course, many wars, the galactic wars during the time of the Egyptians, and much of our history has been completely erased. For it's like the lessons of what your world is here to learn. Yes, it was to learn this human, your version of human currently. It was, as a Sasquatch being, you're not as tested as you are in this form. So eventually it'll make it more clear. Yeah, you're in the hardest test of this version of the human for various different reasons. It's the human that was tampered with the most. Yes, it's basically pushed itself to the edge, as some of you feel that now. As a Sasquatch being, maybe you feel like you just have half the difficulties you have here. You can go multidimensional very easily. You can take your telepathic abilities. You don't have the lessons of this world. So many humans were trapped here on this planet for such a long time. Many of you agreed to reincarnate to help unlock it. Yes. There's much more to it than that, but that's part of it. It's not that humans are not ready for, some are and some aren't. Many have been weaponized, shut down, and you're here to awaken to at a healthy level. Very healthy. It's basically, it's kind of like bringing life back to your planet, but it has to be done in the right way, which you are doing currently. Doesn't mean they have the same belief systems. It's basically healing the challenges here that are, of course, diverse on all levels. But basically, as a Sasquatch frequency, you're known to care for others, a family life, not like yours. Exactly. We're always traveling multidimensionally. We're always going somewhere. And some of you probably feel those frequencies. We're connected to other beings. I mean, there's a tall white version of us. Basically, there are tall whites that have, or Sasquatch that have tall white DNA. Of course, the Sasquatch with Pleiadian, Sirian, and so on. So we do connect to the aliens. Sometimes we keep the aliens away from your world because we feel like we know what's best for you. So there is a little bit of back and forth between aliens and Sasquatch people. I mean, it's all in good, for the most part, it is of a good communication.